Assalamu alaikum. This is Shoruk Mujumdar welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Maiden session of Jatiya Shongshad begins tomorrow. Ruling BNP's parliamentary meeting held presided over by Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. No energy crisis in the country despite global fuel supply disruption, informs BPC. Fact-finding committee starts investigation in case of demanding bribe by former prosecutor Simon Reza Talukdar. More than 1,300 civilians killed in Iran as the war with United States and Israel enters 12th day. And Bangladesh crushed Pakistan by 8 wickets in first of 3-match ODI series in Mirpur. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. The first session of the Jatiya Shongshad will begin at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Earlier, on February 23rd, President Mohammad Shahabuddin summoned the session on March 12th. The President convened the session exercising the power bestowed upon him as per the Article 72(1) of the Constitution. Before commencing the House proceedings on the day, the Parliamentary Business Advisory Committee is likely to hold a meeting to fix the duration and agenda of the session. The main task of the Treasury bench in the first sitting is to place those ordinances before the House which the government wants to turn into law. The interim government promulgated or amended a total of 130 ordinances during its 18-month tenure. According to the Constitution, the President must convene the first session of the new Parliament within 30 days of the publication of the Gazette of the parliamentary election results. He does so in accordance with the written advice of the Prime Minister. The Gazette of the MPs elected in the 13th Jatiya Shongshad election held on February 12th was published on February 13th. BNP Chairman Tariq Rahman has already been elected as the leader of the House in the 13th Jatiya Shongshad, while Jamaat-e-Islami Amir Dr. Shafiqur Rahman has been elected as the leader of the opposition. Immediately after the House goes into its maiden sitting, the Speaker and Deputy Speaker will be elected and sworn in by the President. After their election, the session is likely to be adjourned for 15 to 20 minutes for the oath-taking. The new Speaker will then preside over the House session. The committee will decide the tenure of the inaugural session and other businesses of the Parliament. The standing committees on different ministries are likely to be formed during the session. President Shahabuddin will also address the first sitting of the session in line with the Constitution. The Cabinet will approve the speech and MPs will discuss the President's speech. At the first sitting, the House will also adopt an obituary motion. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman held a meeting with ruling party lawmakers at the Jatiya Shongshad Secretariat in the capital today. The meeting took place at the West Block of the Parliament Secretariat. Members of Parliament from the ruling BNP attended the meeting. The Bangladesh Petroleum Corporation (BPC) has increased the supply of fuel from depots to petrol pumps under a rationing system. A statement issued today said BPC has raised fuel supply to petrol pumps by 10%. The statement added that in the current global crisis, BPC is providing instructions on the supply and receipt of fuel to ensure adequate availability for the needs of the country's population. Notably, following the ongoing war in the Middle East, petrol pumps began selling fuel under a rationing system last Sunday on government orders to prevent a long-term fuel shortage in the country. Meanwhile, the Chattogram Port Authority reported that 10 fuel-carrying ships are currently in the waters of Bangladesh. Board member of the port Commodore Ahmed Amin Abdullah said unloading operations are underway from 6 ships within Chattogram port waters. He added that among 4 ships in the port waters, 2 are carrying LNG, while the remaining 2 are carrying LPG and gasoline. The Port Authority is working in a coordinated manner to ensure smooth fuel supply. Additionally, a 3-tier security system, including the Navy and the Coast Guard, has been implemented for ships anchored offshore. It is noted that 8 ships had unloaded fuel and left Chattogram port in the past week. A fact-finding committee formed to investigate allegations of 1 crore taka bribe demand in exchange for acquittal in a case related to the July massacre has started its activities. ICT Chief Prosecutor Aminul Islam has disclosed the information this afternoon. Earlier on Tuesday, a 5-member committee was formed to investigate allegations that recently resigned ICT Prosecutor Simon Reza Talukdar demanded 1 crore taka in bribes in return for acquittal. The committee, headed by Chief Prosecutor Aminul Islam, also includes prosecutors Abdul Saban Torofdar, newly appointed prosecutor Murjina Rahman Medina, Mohammad Jahirul Amin, and the tribunal's law research officer Sifatullah. According to the prosecution, the fact-finding committee will examine various issues related to the investigations and prosecution activities of the reconstituted International Crimes Tribunal. The committee will also investigate the bribery allegations against former prosecutor Simon Reza Talukdar. Meanwhile, the tribunal has set 30th March for issuing its order on framing charges against former ministers Rashid Khan Menon and Kamrul Islam in a case over crimes against humanity linked to the July mass uprising. Nazrul Square in DC Hill, the cultural hub of the port city of Chattogram, has been opened to the public after the renovation work. Deputy Commissioner Muhammad Jahidul Islam Mia officially inaugurated it by unveiling a plaque in the afternoon. He said this premises, which is one of core entertainment and cultural centers of the people of the port city of Chattogram, has now been made more modern and aesthetic. Through the renovation, regular cultural events can now be organized in Nazrul Square. Additional Deputy Commissioner Shakhwat Jamil Shaikat and Sharifuddin, Deputy Director of Local Government Department Ghulam Mainuddin Hassan, Additional District Magistrate Syed Mahbubul Haq, and other officials of the district administration were present, among others, at the inauguration ceremony. Now, international news. The United States-Israeli war on Iran has entered its 12th day, with Tehran saying nearly 10,000 civilian sites in the country have been bombed and more than 1,300 civilians killed. Iranian targets, including Tehran's Mehrabad airport, were bombed on Tuesday overnight, while Tehran continued its retaliatory attacks on Israel and U.S. assets in the Gulf region, causing a spike in global energy prices. 3 commercial ships have been damaged by unknown projectiles in the Strait of Hormuz. 23 crew members on board one ship are being rescued. Pictures showed smoke billowing from the vessel. Earlier, the U.S. military said it eliminated 16 Iranian mine-laying ships in the area after President Trump warned Iran not to put out any mines there. Iran continues its strikes across the region, including in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait. 4 people were injured when 2 drones fell near Dubai airport, though air traffic has not been affected. It's the second drone attack in the area in recent days. Earlier, Iran's police chief said any Iranians thinking of protesting against the government would be dealt with in the same way they deal with the enemy. Israel has killed at least 19 people in its relentless bombardment of Lebanon, striking a residential building in central Beirut and locations in the east and south of the embattled country. Lebanon's national news agency reported that strikes early on Wednesday killed 7 people and wounded 5 in Tamnin al-Tahta in the Baalbek district, following an earlier report that 10 had died. The news agency also reported that 3 people had been killed after a car was targeted by an Israeli drone in Saf al-Hawa, Bint Zubayl in southern Lebanon. The Lebanese Ministry of Public Health also announced that 7 people have been killed and 11 wounded in Israeli attacks overnight on al-Shahabiyah in southern Lebanon. 1 person was killed in an Israeli drone attack in Nabathieh of southern Lebanon, while 1 person in Zlaya of Bekaa. Russian and Ukrainian officials made rival claims of battlefield successes in their 4-year-old war. Neither has officially declared a final victory, as the conflict remains an active war of attrition. Meanwhile, Moscow has continued its airstrikes in various parts of Ukraine. Russian forces launched a series of airstrikes on the eastern Ukrainian city of Sloviansk, killing 4 people and wounding at least 16 others, including a 14-year-old girl. According to Vadim Filashkin, head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration, the attack involved the deployment of 3 guided aerial bombs that struck the city center, hitting at least 6 high-rise buildings and damaging around 10. These strikes occurred as U.S.-brokered peace talks are currently on hold due to shifting international focus toward escalating conflicts in the Middle East. Now, news on sports. Cricket. Pacer Nahid Rana claimed his maiden fifer before Tanzid Tamim scored an unbeaten 50 as Bangladesh crushed Pakistan by 8 wickets in the opening ODI of the 3-match series at the Sher-e-Bangla National Cricket Stadium in Mirpur. Playing maiden ODI on home soil, Rana returned figures of 5 for 24 and ripped through Pakistan's batting lineup with fiery pace as they bundle out Pakistan for just 114 runs in 13.4 overs after Bangladesh opted to field first. In reply, Bangladesh lost opener Saif Hassan early off Shaheen Shah Afridi, but an 82-run stand between Tanzid and Nazmul Hussain Shanto for the second wicket all but sealed the victory for Bangladesh.